Lewis Hamilton just shattered Ferrari's silence, revealing a hidden flaw in their 2026 car that could ruin their season before it starts. Was it a hybrid glitch? A broken simulation model? Or something even worse? According to Hamilton, the problem runs deeper than anyone thought. If this issue isn't fixed fast, Ferrari's entire development cycle could collapse, and their rivals are already taking advantage of the leak. We're breaking down exactly what Hamilton found, why it matters, and what this means for Ferrari's future, so hit that subscribe button now before this story disappears from a grid. Post-season testing in Abu Dhabi is rarely dramatic. It's a chance for teams to gather final data, evaluate new parts, and allow drivers to run without pressure. But this year, the spotlight swung hard onto Ferrari, and not for the reasons they expected. Lewis Hamilton, stepping into a red suit for the first time ahead of his 2026 switch, completed a private run in Ferrari's hybrid simulator car. What should have been a symbolic session turned into a technical expose, with Hamilton making observations that shocked even his future engineers. According to internal sources close to the garage, Hamilton didn't wait for the press to ask him questions. Off camera, but within earshot of senior personnel, he reportedly flagged a serious inconsistency between what Ferrari's engineers believed was happening and what he felt in the car. The feedback wasn't vague. He pointed directly to power delivery irregularities, particularly how the car transitioned between hybrid deployment and internal combustion torque. This wasn't a matter of driver preference, it was a foundational system flaw. The issue he raised revolved around hybrid synchronization. Under 2020 SS's stricter fuel flow and energy rules, teams must achieve seamless torque blending between their battery systems and the V6 engine. But Hamilton felt sharp spikes and irregular responses in medium-speed corners, the type of detail a simulator might smooth over, but a driver of his caliber would instantly recognize. It's the kind of problem that can compromise tire wear, car balance, and long-run consistency, especially under race pressure. This revelation hit Ferrari harder than it might have hit another team. Why? Because Ferrari's 2026 platform was designed around reliability and predictability, not extreme innovation. They had aimed to build a car that was consistent and safe inside the new technical rulebook. But Hamilton's feedback suggested that even this conservative approach had failed to integrate the power unit and the car's control systems correctly. If that's true, the entire architecture may need revision not in months, but in weeks. What makes this twist even more significant is the timing. Ferrari is entering the final phase of 2026 development, where major decisions around chassis shape, cooling, packaging, and energy distribution become locked due to homologation. Hamilton's insight, delivered now, may have just saved Ferrari from cementing a flawed baseline, but also means everything built on that baseline so far can now be obsolete, including hours of CFD analysis, wind tunnel runs, and simulator correlation data. The reaction from inside Maranello has been too quiet. No interviews, no statements, just a sterile press release about productive testing and collaborative input. But behind closed doors, a technical scramble has begun. Engineers are revalidating hybrid maps, cross-referencing throttle trace data, and revisiting how real-world telemetry matches their simulation assumptions. Because if Hamilton is right and his record suggests he is Ferrari is weeks behind where they thought they were. And in Formula One, weeks can mean the difference between contention and collapse. The grid is watching. Rivals like Red Bull and McLaren are already analyzing Ferrari's 2026 test behavior, looking for clues and weaknesses. Hamilton's remarks weren't just feedback, they were a signal. A sign that one of F1's biggest teams may be walking into the next era with a broken foundation. And for Ferrari, who hasn't won a title in nearly 2 decades, that kind of exposure isn't just embarrassing. It's dangerous. The most serious issue Hamilton identified during the test was a timing failure in Ferrari's energy deployment system. Under the 2026 regulations, the balance between internal combustion power and electric deployment must be seamless both to meet efficiency targets and to extract performance during corner exits. But Hamilton reported surges of torque at moments where the car should have been stabilizing, not accelerating. These weren't raw power boosts, they were irregular and unpredictable, especially in mid-corner phases where precision is everything. This points to what engineers refer to as hybrid lag, a mismatch in the synchronization between throttle input and the MGUK's torque delivery. Instead of delivering clean, linear energy, Ferrari's system appeared to pulse under partial load. That breaks driver rhythm and erodes mechanical grip, especially in low-speed traction zones. Over a full race stint, this kind of inconsistency can lead to higher tire degradation, unpredictable rear-end rotation, and loss of confidence under acceleration, all devastating outcomes for a team relying on stability, not aggression. Another critical flaw Hamilton flagged was related to simulator correlation drift. Ferrari's in-house simulation predicted one handling profile, but on track, the car behaved differently, especially in braking zones and lift-end coast entries. While this may sound like a minor calibration gap, in F1 it's catastrophic. Development decisions from suspension tuning to aero map selection depend entirely on that simulator-to-reality match. If Ferrari's virtual model is lying, every setup choice becomes a gamble. Telemetry also revealed inconsistencies in brake-by-wire behavior. Hamilton reportedly felt a shifting pedal response between laps subtle but clear. The data confirmed fluctuations in braking force recovery and Regan thresholds. Under 2026 rules, the electrical and hydraulic braking systems must operate in harmony, especially with reduced onboard cooling. Ferrari's package seems to experience small but dangerous variations as battery temperatures climb, a signal that thermal modeling might be off and brake bias compensation isn't adjusting fast enough. One of the more overlooked yet crucial elements Hamilton questioned was differential behavior under throttle. On exit from tight corners, especially turns 7 and 12 in Yas Marina, the car snapped at the rear and more than expected. Data logs showed that Ferrari may be running an aggressive diff preload to help initial rotation, but under 2020 SXS weight and tire profile, this setup may become unstable over race stints. It's the type of characteristic that looks fast over one lap, but can destroy rear tires under full race conditions. Thermal load in the energy unit was also a concern. Hamilton noticed a gradual power fade starting from lap 8 of a mid-length stint, something engineers later traced to rising core battery temperatures. With the new packaging constraints and reduced side pod volume, Ferrari appears to have pushed cooling to the absolute minimum. The result? A power unit that starts strong but degrades under heat saturation, a dangerous flaw when competitors are prioritizing thermal consistency across long runs. Finally, perhaps the most strategic failure exposed was data transparency across subsystems. According to sources familiar with the test, Hamilton noticed a lag in dashboard updates during multi-mode runs. That suggests that Ferrari's communication protocols between energy control units and driver feedback modules may not yet be optimized. In a race scenario, delayed or inaccurate energy data could lead to mistimed deployment, strategy misfires, or worse, total system shutdown under stress. For a team gunning for championship intention, this isn't just a technical glitch, it's a structural liability. Inside Ferrari's technical operations hub in Maranello, the tone has shifted from excitement to quiet crisis. Hamilton's unexpected feedback wasn't delivered through official debrief forms or filtered through PR teams. It came directly in plain language during a live session. According to internal sources, as soon as telemetry confirmed his observations, a string of emergency technical meetings was triggered. The system was no longer in control. The question was no longer if something had gone wrong, but how deep the flaw truly ran. Enrico Cardile, Ferrari's technical director, now finds himself in a precarious position. He was the architect of the 2026 chassis concept, a design that prioritized balance, consistency, and strict adherence to the new FIA efficiency protocols. But Hamilton's insights revealed that even this conservative philosophy had masked serious flaws in integration. Cardile has reportedly ordered a full subsystem audit, not just energy mapping, but mechanical linkages, telemetry lag, and sim model assumptions. That move alone is a red flag. It means the original framework may no longer be trusted. What complicates the response is the nature of Hamilton's role. He is not just a guest driver offering loose feedback. He is Ferrari's future lead, a driver whose input will shape the car's evolution through 2026 and beyond. That gives his words immediate political weight. Internally, Ferrari engineers now face the uncomfortable reality that the person who just exposed a core weakness is also the one who will demand solutions. That changes workflows, reshapes hierarchy, and exposes divides between the old and the new. Ferrari's simulator team, in particular, is facing direct scrutiny. If their virtual model failed to reflect real track behavior, the implications are vast. Simulator trust is the backbone of modern F1 development. Informs every design choice, upgrade package, and race strategy. Now, their version of the 2026 car is being reevaluated. Teams often face correlation issues, but when a 7-time world champion walks out of the car and says, "This doesn't match reality," the pressure becomes personal. Reputations are now on the line. Leclerc's camp is also watching closely. As the incumbent Ferrari driver, Charles Leclerc has spent the past year testing early-stage 2026 components, offering his own feedback and aligning with the car's direction. But Hamilton's entry brings a new dynamic. If his interpretation overrides what Leclerc's data previously indicated, the balance of influence inside Ferrari could shift. Behind the scenes, this is already being discussed not openly, but through engineering preferences, setup priorities, and test scheduling. Ferrari now faces a potential leadership tension before the season even begins. Strategically, team management is also calculating the cost of the silence. Ferrari has not addressed Hamilton's claims publicly, and for good reason. Acknowledging them would confirm internal instability. But saying nothing has only amplified speculation. Rival teams have started pulling apart Ferrari's test footage, looking for signs, clues, inconsistencies. In a paddock where secrets mean seconds, Ferrari's silence is becoming a message in itself, that the leak wasn't just real, it was accurate. And now, Ferrari is up against the clock. Homologation deadlines are approaching. Design freeze is near. Fixing hybrid mapping issues isn't like changing a front wing, it's an architecture-level rebuild. Cooling, wiring, gearbox integration, battery positioning, all of it is affected. Ferrari must now choose between sticking with a flawed design and hoping to mask the symptoms, or making a painful pivot that costs time, resources, and pride. Either way, Hamilton's feedback hasn't just exposed a weakness, it's triggered a full-blown reckoning inside the Scuderia.